Well, hello everybody. I'm Bill Mullendore coming to you live from Winfield, Kansas. This is the Crime Scene Detective Show. I'm going to be your host for the next 2 hours tonight. We're glad to have you on board. I'm right here with my co-host,
Joe Lurch over here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
And we're glad to have Joe aboard tonight. We have a very special show for you tonight. It was the murders that rocked the town, then the nation, and now the world. 3 very young boys murdered and 3 teenagers convicted of the crime. Were they wrongly convicted? Did they really commit these murders? Convicted with no evidence. Arkansas State Judge Dan Stidham will be our guest tonight to answer some of these questions and take your questions. Dan Stidham was the attorney for one of the convicted teens at the time of the trial for Jesse Miss Kelly. He was also in the documentary film that HBO put out, Paradise Lost, a movie made on the murders. Actor Johnny Depp has also come out in defense of the West Memphis Three, and other celebrities have also spoken out for them also. Now, after 17 years behind bars, facing life, and one facing death, the world fights to set them free. Judge Stidham, we're glad to have you on board.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here, and thanks for your hospitality.
But right now, I want to go back to Dan and kind of just get a little bit of a background on you there, Dan, and kind of bring us up to date to where you are. And then maybe for listeners that are maybe here that really haven't heard anything about this case that might need to know, let's kind of fill them in on that, if you would.
All right. Where do you want me to start?
Just where maybe when you got into law, or what made you decide to go into law, and then becoming an attorney, and then taking on the West Memphis 3 case, and now to the point to where you are now.
Well, I've always been very, very interested in criminal law, and when I was a kid, I was a huge fan of Perry Mason on television, and so I decided at a very young age, probably 2nd or 3rd grade, actually, that I wanted to be a lawyer, and I just never looked back. That's kind of moved that direction from the very beginning and never wavered.
That's so you went through law school, and now how long were you a lawyer before you actually became a circuit court judge?
Well, I'm actually a district court judge.
Okay,
and,
district.
My jurisdiction is county-wide in Greene County, Arkansas,
Mm-hmm.
and I also sit as a magistrate for circuit court, so I do have some circuit court duties, but primarily I hear all the district court matters, misdemeanors, felony first appearances, things of that nature. So I do a lot of stuff. It keeps me busy.
Mm-hmm.
I got out of law school, I guess, when I was about 4, and got my law license and began practicing in 1988. And it wasn't too long before this big case showed up on my doorstep, and I had just turned 30 years old when this case got going.
My goodness. So this was, you actually hadn't even taken on a murder case in a courtroom before when you had taken this case. Is that correct? That's
correct. I had this was actually my first jury trial that I sat as first chair in. I had done one previous jury trial as second chair. It was a drug case, and we did win an acquittal in that matter, but that's really the only experience that I had in the courtroom other than divorce work and criminal misdemeanor stuff. So I didn't have a very large portfolio to go to as far as experience is concerned, and I pretty much had to find my way on my own as I went along.
Mm-hmm. Do you, I guess maybe this is a silly question, were you nervous?
Well, when we first started out, we didn't expect to go to trial because the assumption on everyone's behalf was that these kids were guilty, and my client had given a, you can call it a confession, a statement to the police about what he witnessed at the crime scene.